Going to enjoy some good basketball this year. Chris has got the Buckeyes playing really good defense right now, you play that kind of defense. I mean, I know it's only a couple games in, but you're going to have a lot of success, and I'll attribute our lack of success in the second half to what Ohio State did today. They're going to be a really good team. Really good team. And defensively, you saw it a couple days ago against Cincinnati, who's won 61 games in the last 2 years, and we shot higher percentages than they did over the course of the game. I was really proud of our guys in our fight in the first half. We had good offensive process, which helped our defense. We didn't necessarily shoot it great in the first half, but the process was really good and showed just great fight. I mean, we did a phenomenal job on the defensive glass. We thought that was going to be a focus to give ourselves a chance to compete coming down the stretch of the second half if we could rebound the basketball, because that's something that the Buckeyes have been really good at. And coming into the second half, when you couple the fact that we go over 11 from three. Some of that was processed. Some of it was Ohio State doing a phenomenal job, and then you couple that with making some tough shots to start the half, which Ohio State did, and then it got away from us a little bit, and we didn't do a good enough job to defend. And this young group, I mean, we got 10 guys that've never worn a Mastodon jersey out there playing, and so we didn't manage that adversity very well today, but. I don't know if any of you guys know this or not. I attribute, the luckiness to have one of the 351 jobs to Chris Holtmann. What was it, Tom? What was it? 7 years ago? 7 years ago, my staff got let go at Colgate. Chris is a really dear friend of mine, and I'm scrambling. My wife's pregnant. My son's 3 years old. We're trying to figure out. I love coaching. I want to stay in it. My wife's from Lima, Ohio, and we've been wanting to get back to the Midwest. And Chris calls me and says, "Hey, I got a friend at IPFW that just got a head coaching job. I called him, recommended you. I think you got a really good shot at that. He's looking for someone with your profile." And I said, "Chris, man, I got no chance. You know how this business works. You got to know somebody." He goes, No. I really sold you. I really think this is a good fit. I end up getting the job. 3 years later, I'm a Division I head coach after 16 years as an assistant, and I'm blessed to have great friends like Chris. Now, I question that the second half with how his team shot the ball, but you guys are blessed to have Chris Holtmann as your basketball coach. He's pretty special, and you're going to see that on the floor with how he produces. But if you get the opportunity to really get to know him, you're going to meet the friend that I have, and I'm just blessed to have that friendship.
Coach, you mentioned Ohio State's team defense. I was just wondering what your impressions were individually of Luther Muhammad and the job he did today guarding John.
I mean, he's really good. I mean, and John's as good of a player as there is in mid-major basketball. I mean, unfortunately, I wish we had 7 or 8 Johns out there to be able to sit there and target on him. Is a tough task for him. But Muhammad, one-on-one defense did a really good job. Now, what I will say is that it's more the team defense. I mean, individually, very talented. I recognize that watching, scouting him. But at the end of the day, Coach Holtmann has an entire group really playing well together defensively. They're very physical. They're very tough. I mean, you coming on the road in the Big Ten, it's going to be a challenge to get to the free throw line. And they do a really good job. And I think they probably do a lot of it without fouling. I mean, some teams just foul enough to where you can't call them all. I mean, I just think they play really solid. You just have a group of committed young men who want to stop the other team from scoring. And if they can make shots like they did today, they're going to win a lot of games because our team is young or at least inexperienced in some phases. But if you glance at the newspaper down the road this year, we're going to have a good team. Our team's going to be a good team. But they did a great job tonight, and I need to buy whatever Chris sold his team at halftime, because that would be great to get a team to come out and shoot that well and defend that well in the second half. He did a good job.
Coach, with all those newcomers, how have you gotten them to play so cohesively, so quickly? Because your ball movement, especially in the first half, was really good.
Yeah, and I'll mark the first half too. We got better since UCLA on that ball movement. I wish I had a magic potion to make balls go in. You followed us for a long time. We haven't gone 0 for 11 very much. My old saying is, if we ever shoot under 40%, the game just wasn't long enough when we stick with our process. But we didn't attack well enough in that second half. But the first half we did. I really like this group, and you're going to see them continue to get better. We're still missing one, our junior college center. Ramion Burt has not gotten healthy, so that hurts us inside a little bit. But those guys who are out there today, like they're trying to do what we're asking. They just got to be able to do it through adversity. But again, I'm glad I'm not playing Chris's team every night out. They throw a little too much adversity, as we saw tonight.
Chris said going into the game.
Lessons we can take from this game. Well, I mean, it's sort of the tale of two halves. The first half, you saw a lot of fight in that group, and I love that. And you saw good process, which helped on the offensive end, which got us good shots. We didn't make them all. And we played in foul trouble too. We were scrambling. Dylan Carl picked up 2 cheap ones early and sit next to me, and that's a position where we're already a little thin with Ramion out with a foot injury. We can play with one of the best Big Ten teams, and so we got an opportunity when we're in flow, where we can be really, really good. But then you got to be able to play 2 halves. You got to be able to play 40 minutes. And you got to be able to face some adversity. And I thought our group tonight got caught up, focusing on the pass too much. Okay, and so you saw some hero plays, some shots, some ill-advised shots, or some lack of focus out there, and that's what happened. That's where we dropped them. We were not a very good basketball team in that second half, and so it really is glaring to those guys. Hey, adversity, we got to be us. And that was not us in the second half. So it was a great lesson. Now it's only a great. It's got an opportunity to be a great lesson. It's only a great lesson if they learn from it and they get better. But I have no doubt with this group and the culture we have in our locker room that we'll take a step forward.
Chris was worried about the not having enough length to guard you guys, especially after what they lost from last season. How have you defensively? What did you see Ohio State do to sort of compensate for some of that?
Well, length does affect how we play the game. We like to really spread you out, and so guys can make up for things. We saw that at UCLA where they had Moses, who's got great length inside, changing shots around the rim. I thought coming into the game that how we play, when you play a fundamental team, like Ohio State, that we can take advantage of some of that. As we're driving and drawing crowds, if we manage those crowds really well, we'll get some open looks. I think what he's got right now is he's got just a committed group. They just got a ton of fight to them, and a relentlessness, and they just keep coming at you, and so there's never a relaxation on the defensive end. They did a good job challenging passes, and so that's really good. So that gets you uncomfortable. They had a number of deflections that caused some issues for us as we want to swing it side to side, and that affected us. We were able to get into the paint a fair amount, particularly in the first half, but they stayed the course. They didn't die on the vine, and they put us in a crowd, and they said, all right, score it in a crowd, and we weren't able to make enough of those. Now as you face other Big Ten teams, that may be a challenge, because you have some guys who will elevate in there, and they just can make a few more plays when you get into the paint. But I think just with when you have a committed group like he's got right now, I think you're going to see a lot of success on that defensive end. So much of it's just what you got in here with your heart, just being willing to just dig in and draw a line in the sand. And he seems to have his group early in the season doing that.